Okay, everyone, this is the Wizard of OC Realtor in Orange County. Let's just jump right into it. This is the continuation of the RPA, and what is that? It's a residential purchase agreement. In the first episode of Escrow Escapades, and actually this is Realtor Real Talk, we went over pages 1, 2, 3. Again, page 1 on the RPA is the price, escrow, how many days you want escrow, and financing. So that's kind of on page 1. That's the important stuff too. Page 2 is contingency removal timeframes. Most transactions have a 17-day due diligence timeframe where the buyers have 17 days to go do all the stuff they want on that. Home inspections, termite inspections, all the disclosures. If it's in an HOA, they want to review those documents. So they have 17 days to review and then remove contingencies. One of the last contingency removals that we do is the loan. You always leave that into the last minute unless you can remove it by the lender. So I won't do anything until the lender says, hey, green light, go ahead and remove it. Anyway, so those are contingency removals, page 2. Page 3, who pays for stuff? Termite, who's going to pay for it? Title, who's going to pay for it? Escrow, who's going to pay for it? Again, what is escrow? Escrow is a third party that overlooks the buyers and the sellers through the agents. Make sure everything's done, all the I's are dotted, the T's are crossed, and then all paperwork is done in a timely manner, and they kind of keep things moving along. They also take control of the wire deposits and stuff like that, the down payments, make sure it's in a secure place. So again, page 3 is who pays for what. Page 4 through 17, what is all that stuff? Well, buyer's rights, seller's rights, loans, contingency removals, appraisal rights, occupancy. How are you going to occupy this property? Very important. Check the box properly. Number 1, are you going to live in it? If so, it's a primary property that has to do with tax ramifications and how the house is entitled. Is it going to be a rental? Got to check that box. So it's an investment property. So that's very important stuff. There's also advisories up all over the place in this. Advisories. Is it in a trust? That's an advisory. You're advising both sides. Hey, this isn't a trust. There may be some title stuff that we have to figure out. And that's what title does during escrow. So they do a clear, free and clear title. All right, so again, these are all of the stuff. So let's just take a few examples. You've got withholding taxes in here, defensible space. What is that? Okay, in California, almost everything is in a fire zone. So there are certain times when you may be required by the lender to make sure that the fire department came out. Could be the Orange County Fire Authority, or it could be the local town, which is in City of Orange. It's the Orange Fire Department. They will come out, do a free inspection, and they will look at your property and say, hey, you need those trees trimmed back from the roof. Why is that important? Fire can jump from a tree onto your roof, and the embers go up underneath your house, and it's just a terrible situation. So for insurance reasons, you have to do a space abatement or a defensible space. Now, here's an example. I was doing an open house. In the back, they have a swimming pool. On the back, along what you would think is the property line, was a fence. As I took people back to the fence, I said, look over there. Then there was a big downhill that connected to a schoolyard. So we're talking thousands of square feet of just land that had to be cleaned, cleared. Any brush had to be removed, trees trimmed, stuff like that. Anything that can cause a fire to really accelerate it needs to be removed. So it's a defensible space. And it does matter on whether or not the property goes through or not. If you can't get insurance on it until that is taken care of, then guess what? You got to take care of it. And who's going to take care of it? Usually it's the seller, but everything is negotiable. So remember, also when you buy a property in a fire zone, you take that on. You are now the new purveyor of that property. So you have to fix it. Maybe every 3 years you have to go in and do a defensible space clearing. All right, so here's another couple good ones. Your investigation of the properties. So you want to do a home inspection. The home inspector comes in, you set an appointment, you have to pay for that. It's out of your pocket. Normally you pay by a credit card online, and they release that report to you. And they're really in-depth reports, and there's videos attached. There are pictures, and everything that is of importance to a home inspector, they will call that out. So then we take that report, and we will actually go over it together with the buyers as a buyer's agent, and we'll see what's important to them. Sometimes they ask for nothing. Sometimes they ask for a lot of repairs. What you don't want to do is nitpick and ask for little tiny stuff. You're buying the house as is. However, if you do discover something big in the home inspection, let's say that home inspector's on the roof, he sees a visible hole in the roof, but there hasn't been any rain. So they don't know there's a big hole in that roof. So that's something you would go back and negotiate. Hey, we want you to fix the roof, or we want a credit, or we will cancel the deal, that kind of stuff. So that's a home inspection, goes through all of the systems in the house, make sure everything works properly. Here's something you probably didn't know. A home inspector fills up your bathtub and then he drains it. Why do you think that happens? Well, to see how much time it takes for that bathtub to drain. It will tell them if the pipes are clogged or if it needs some kind of TLC in the pipes that it's not draining fast enough. So that's what home inspectors do. Now, also, I want to go in the statutory disclosures that are in pages 4 through 14. That could be like natural hazard disclosures. What is that? Well, again, California is loaded with natural hazards, earthquake zones. We've got fire zones, high density fire zones. They're all different levels, and you need to know the house you're buying, where they are located, and what fire zones will affect the desirability of that property. Why is that so important? It's for the insurance. So insurance is a big deal in California, and it's a big battle going on. So if you buy a house in a high density fire zone, you need to get insurance for that to protect your house and your loan. Sometimes you can't find that. So you've got to do your due diligence, make sure that you have extra funds to pay for that. Sometimes it could be thousands of dollars on top of your mortgage payment. So it could be a deal killer. Know your rights and know if you're in a fire zone or not. And that's what a natural hazard disclosure will disclose. And that is provided to you from the sellers. And it comes in a nice, report and has everything to do with flood zones. Are you in a flood zone? That affects insurability. Let's go to your appraisal rights. You do have a loan. You're going to most likely get an appraisal. The bank's going to send an appraiser out to appraise that property, and it needs to come into value of what you're paying for it. If you're buying a house for $800,000, it needs to appraise for that value. And if it doesn't, then we go back to the negotiation table and we figure it out. So either the seller is going to lower the price if it didn't appraise, or they're going to give you a reduction in the price, obviously, or they're going to say, hey, we don't feel comfortable. We want to sell our house for this amount. So you're going to meet in the middle. We'll put in, let's say it's $50,000 short. They would say, we'll give you 25 grand. You bring in 25 grand. So if you're a buyer and you don't have some extra cash to make that deal happen, it could kill the deal. Anyway, these are the RPA residential purchase agreement, all the goodies that are in there. It's 17 pages, so I kind of went over it quick. However, I will put 17-page copy in the links below. Feel free to open that up and just kind of review it. So when you're ready to buy a house, you kind of have an idea of what a residential purchase agreement is and how it can affect you. Remember, it is the escrow instructions. When you hand that offer in, it gets accepted. We hand it off to the escrow company, and the escrow uses it for their instructions. So again, this is Jeff Wermuth, the Wizard of OC, talking about the RPA. And thank God it's over. Have a great day.